Welcome to another episode of your new favorite sports show, Gas Presents Sports for the Culture. It is your host once again, your boy Bryce, XXV double I. Follow me on Twitter and any other platform you can find me. Let's get to the panel. Top right, introduce yourself.
What up, people? Scruff Lion. You know what time it is? Gas. Let's get into it.
Let's get it. Bottom left, introduce yourself.
It's your boy Dímelo That Good. What's up, people? Estoy aquí para la gente.
Hey. Bottom right. Let's get it. Introduce yourself.
T Boogie, Twitter, IG, man. Same thing with me every week, man. Wash your hands, wash your ass. Let's go.
Hey, man, it's some strange times. Got to stay clean. Hey, let's jump right into it, fellas. Everybody knows what the first topic is, so there's no need in dancing around it. No pun intended. It's the last dance, the final episode. Let's jump right into it, fellas. Initial thoughts, man. T, I'm gonna throw it to you, man.
Oh man, I love it. I love it. It gave me that childhood. I want to be like Mike feeling when it was all wrapped up. I mean, they didn't really get to the nitty gritty that I thought they would, but it felt magical. I finished the last episode. My son just staring intently, just not even talking. 6-year-old, just locked in. No better feeling, man. Mike's the greatest.
Yeah. I think we can agree with that, man. Mike's the greatest. Mike is certainly the greatest. What do you think about the finale of The Last Dance?
I mean, I thought it was capped off just the way, it should have been. And I thought it was really good overall, honestly. And I think the time of everything, man, right now we all sitting at home, man, watching Mike, watching his greatness, got me excited for basketball, got me excited for sports, got me really into it, man. That was a real touching documentary, really solid. And the timing for ESPN couldn't be even better.
Yes, sir. DeMelo Ragu. Hey,
Man,
you got the J's in the backdrop. How you feeling, man?
Man, what Jordan made me realize, man, I need to be more cutthroat, yo. No friends out here when it comes to trying to get the trip and the glory.
Nah, no doubt, man. You can't let nothing get in the way of your goals. And Jordan definitely wasn't that guy, man. I think y'all know how I felt. I've been saying it from Jump Street. I think it's been a lot of peaches and cream with this documentary, man. We ain't get the dark side of Jordan. To me, this was like just the elevation of MJ. Not that he don't deserve it. I mean, this is one of the all-time greatest athletes in the history of sports. But what did you guys think of that? Did you guys think this was too peachy, or did you guys think that this is how it should have been done if you're doing an MJ documentary?
I think it was a good amount of peachy, but also at the same time, even with the amount of, juice that they gave him, you know what I'm saying? Even with a little bit of controversy, you know what I'm saying? They still try and paint him out to be slightly a bad guy, but overall still a good overall message. So I think they did it right. You know what I'm saying? They didn't get too crazy with it, try and bring my man down. I think it was done tastefully, done well. And in terms of, for a GOAT, I think it was done right.
I can't agree with you more, man. They really made Jordan look human. And he's a sports god, not just a basketball guy. He's a sports god. They did a good job of making him look human. I could kind of tell that, all the back and forth with the other players, the teammates, all the disputes, with the front office, like it wore on him. He wasn't just unfazed by it. He did have emotions. He did feel away. He just prioritized winning even more. That documentary also let me know that we need a spinoff. We have to see Rodman. I want to see NWO Rodman. I want to see all the highlights and the lowlights. I want to see what happened with Carmen Electra in Vegas. I want to see everything Dennis Rodman. I thought they did a good job at showcasing Rodman and Pippen as well.
Man, I feel like we need a movie now. Like, those 10 episodes were great, but I know ESPN is trying to give us, like, game 6 of his last final movie, which is unseen footage or whatnot, but yeah. It made me want more Jordan, more everything, more like, yo, how did he gamble? What made him gamble? It's not just that he wanted a competitive edge against somebody. It made you it made you realize, yo, if you ain't an asshole, then why do it? Why do it to be friends with anybody? Like, it made me realize, yo, to get somewhere in life, sometimes, man, that's why when you work with a dickhead at work, pardon my French, It's just like you see why they do it now. Like you made you realize that's why that guy next to me at work is an asshole. He's trying to achieve something, and now you gotta applaud, man.
Yeah.
Look how many guys he stole rings from. Not even stole, like snatched baby from a candy. Like, yo, give me that. You're not taking none of it.
Nah, that's facts, man. That's facts, man. Hey, shout out to our guy Rome, man. Hey, young Rome, 22, man. He just hit us up saying he wants a Kobe documentary, man. Hey, we agree, Rome, and we'll see you on the next episode, Brody. Hey, but hey, continuing with the Jordan conversation, man. What do you guys think? Like, honestly, all honesty, about Jordan's competition, because obviously, his competition was highlighted heavily in these last 2 episodes. If it was the Knicks down to the Pacers, especially in that Eastern Conference, I mean, you got to admit, LeBron James, who Jordan is often compared to, has gotten a ton of criticism for the competition he's faced at times en route to finals. What did y'all think about Jordan's comp? You know, I'm gonna start with you, T. When you think about those Pacer teams, when you think about those Knicks teams, how great do you think those teams were in relation to just NBA history?
Patrick Ewing's a Hall of Famer. Charles Barkley's a Hall of Famer. Reggie Miller's a Hall of Famer. Karl Malone and John Stockton, Hall of Famer. Top 50 players of all time. I mean, I don't even think we can have a competition debate. In fact, if it wasn't for Jordan, we know those guys. You see more, maybe not Karl Malone and John Stockton, no Utah guys, but we see more Reggie Miller jerseys. We see more Patrick Ewing jerseys. But I think that era was tougher to play against. I think this era where all these guys join up and form these super teams, this is the cake era. I mean, these guys got it good. That's just my opinion.
I don't understand that at all, though, because like you named individuals, you named a whole bunch of individuals, but you're talking about his super team era. But you know, if you're talking about who his competition was, yeah, those were some solid teams. But like literally, the super team era was created as a rebuttal to LeBron James and his caliber and his game. They created the super team era. They created a super team off a team that was already a legendary team. Added Kevin Durant so they could team up against LeBron, because y'all know what happened with the season before that. They had to go team up. So that's the thing, man. Like if they was that super team era is tough to discount. I don't know if Jordan might have missed a couple too in those same opportunities that LeBron had during that run. He wouldn't have been flawless like MJ is. Unfortunately, you know, that goes against the track record for LeBron. But MJ 6 for 6, you know. I'm not saying the competition was bad, but he didn't go against a team as good as that Warriors team that LeBron did.
You making a good point right there, Scrub. You making a good point. I mean, we talking about Steph, KD, Clay, Gerardo. What you think, man? Do those Warriors teams stack up against the Pacers and the Knicks or those other times? Who's better?
We're not even just talking about the Warriors. I'm gonna have to agree with Nick. I know it's odd for me to say this, but yeah, you're talking about the Golden State, right? It's not about to forget about the Spurs, Tim Duncan, Ginobili, Parker, like the come up of fucking Kawhi Leonard and Green, and then let's not forget about the Celtics that run. The Celtics was pretty still decent when LeBron James crewed up in Miami. Like, we can't forget about that. And then we talk about Michael Jordan. Yeah, he faced against duos against his. If you talk about Jordan, right? We're talking about Jordan, and then he had. If it wasn't Rodman, it was Grant, right? With him and Pimpin. So now we're talking about Jordan already had the big three, and he was just going up against big twos. If you think about it, right? Karl Malone and Stockton, it was just those two in the Utah team. And then
Byron Russell, come on, man.
Now, come on, man. Like, bro, you're talking about Grant. Look at what Grant did when he went to the Magic. When it was Grant, and then it was O'Neal, and then it was Penny, if I'm not mistaken, right?
And Nick Anderson.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man.
Okay, and then when Jordan comes back, and look what happened to Jordan. Jordan lost to that big three coming back. Yeah, he was coming back from playing baseball, but still he faced the big three. And then when it came for that big three Miami, for that Magic team to come back, Penny got hurt, and then Grant got hurt. So like, he didn't even face the big three when it came to the Magic. And we talking about LeBron. LeBron faced big threes. So I'm going to go with LeBron in this one.
All right. So look. Y'all see where we going right now. We jumping into the GOAT debate. I mean, does the teams that they played have any effect on the GOAT debate? Is my question. Let's. I want to throw a jump ball right now. Let's get it.
No, I don't think it's team. I think it's more like players. The players they face. Like those guys motivated each other. Like Jordan said it himself. Like I'm not me without pimping. And Jordan just needed one person. So that what makes Jordan great compared to LeBron. LeBron is not LeBron without who? Without Wade, without Bosh. Like there's a list of people. LeBron wouldn't be who he is without those individuals. When it comes to Jordan, it's just one person. We're talking about pimping. That's it. All 6 of those finals was just one guy and a coach. So with that said, like I'll say, Jordan.
Nah, this is blasphemy.
Those are great.
I don't care what super team was going on. I don't care if you called it a duo. He was playing against one guy. I mean, it's patently untrue. But at the end of the day, 6 times, no game 7s, 6 in a row. I mean, I don't really care. I don't care if he played a WNBA team. He got it done. Nobody else could win when he was on. LeBron can't say that. Kobe can't say that. Any other GOAT you want to name in any other sport except Mayweather. When he was on, when he was doing this thing, nobody else ate.
That's a fact.
You can debate the rest all you want.
That's a fact. So Scruff, how do you feel, Scruff? Do you think the competition matters? Do you think that the fact that some may say LeBron has faced better competition, some may say the same for Jordan, but do you think that should even matter when you're talking about the greatest, or does it just matter how much you won at the end of the day?
It should matter. I mean, you got to think about what you're going up against. Like, you have to scale anything, just like you have to talk about when you're talking about guys from different eras. Again, like LeBron's era is a little bit different, and not in. But when it comes to the ultimate in the debate, I'm not saying LeBron is better than Jordan, but I think LeBron gets a lot of slack for not having the record in the finals with that amount of finals appearances and not the amount of rings. And that to me is unfair. And that's really the biggest thing. Mike's competition was solid, but I'm just saying, man, that Warriors
was not unfair because Mike was dominant in the clutch, man. LeBron, if he had Mike's clutch gene, we wouldn't be having this conversation probably. If he could get it done, I mean, what's he been, 8 finals? Come on, man. There's no way Jordan goes to 8 and doesn't win 7. Doesn't win 8 probably. Like,
you also got to take into account that he got into those finals. It doesn't discount him for you to get there. If you miss and you first round, second round exits, whatever, LeBron got to the finals way ahead of his curve, way ahead of his window. When he made it to the finals, he wasn't even really arrived yet. Like, the craziest is to say that a kid that young could take his team to the finals, but he wasn't even close to the player that he is and has become. So like, he was in there way ahead of his game and willed his team to the finals with literally nothing. And it doesn't discount to me. It doesn't discount him, missing the rings, in terms of finals appearances, because I think ultimately he's gonna have a longer career than Mike, and that's gonna also factor into the debate as well. I think you're gonna start arguing, who was better in their prime, because ultimately LeBron might play much longer career than Jordan, and that could ultimately even things out. But it's all.
Hey, bro, I think you make a great point with that, man. And I kind of want to transition the conversation into that. What do you guys think about LeBron? Like, for example, we all agree that MJ is the GOAT, right? I think everybody here agrees that. But can LeBron still catch him? Is there anything LeBron can do to catch him? For example, we parade MJ 6 straight. So obviously, if LeBron was to run off 6 straight right now, is he the GOAT? What do you guys, in your opinion, what could LeBron do to eclipse Jordan? Gerardo, let's start with you, man.
You're going to have to 3-peat in Lakerland and La La Land and win finals MVP all 3 times.
All right, T, do you think it's possible?
Anyway.
No, it's not. That's not a possibility. I don't know what he could do. In my mind, I don't think there's much he can do, especially at his age. Maybe he'll surprise me, maybe he won't. But I don't think it's anything he can do. And one of my points is Jordan. There was no debate about who was number 1 in the league. Jordan never had a debate when he played. He was the guy. We've always debated whether it's been Giannis or LeBron, Kobe or LeBron. I mean, that should let alone tell you right there that it's no real debate. It's one guy dominated his era and another guy played at a high level in his era.
Disagree. Not that I was like even alive in that time, but like Magic Johnson and them and those guys, like even though Jordan everybody knew Jordan had clear talent, but there's a lot that have clear talent, put up big numbers, but don't win in the playoffs, and that's the narrative, and that was the talk around Jordan when he first came in the league, and he was really good, putting up big numbers. Oh, you're just that guy putting up numbers on a bad team or a team that can't really get there. Oh, you don't have the class or the true leadership and winning style, the Magic and Larry Bird. That was the knock on Mike. Obviously, he outgrew that narrative, but he wasn't like that early on.
I don't understand this generation. That's not a knock on Westbrook. That's not a knock on Harden. These guys don't get it done in the playoffs. They put up a ton of numbers, but how's that a knock on MJ? It shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be a knock on MJ, but people knocking LeBron, so the knocks have to be evenly distributed.
I agree with that.
We talking about GOATs here, like, you know what I'm saying? I can't have a tilted GOAT. It's got to be, because honestly, we're talking about the GOAT conversation. I think MJ is the GOAT, but I think LeBron still has the opportunity to be there and to eclipse what would it take. I think, to be honest, I don't think it would be enough for everybody, but I think two chips in LA does it for me, and I think he's on the same level as Jordan. And
a 2P or just 2-1 and then no and then 1.
It doesn't matter when he gets them. Just give me 2. If they'll give him 5, and to me, like, that's not 6. 6 would be enough. Then you'd say, okay, he has 6 too, and then everybody can really stop. But I think if you get 7, then what can you really say? If he got 7, then I think undisputedly you can't touch him. I don't think he's going to get 4 more. I think that would be ridiculous. If he did, then he's the GOAT. There's no question.
Maybe I'm a hater. I'm still disputing it. I'm looking at these shoes right here. We got a guy that played with the flu pizza, the food poisoning, whatever you want to call it, right?
The bad pizza.
We got a guy that let cramps disable him. I mean, I think it's 2 guys. I think Jordan's 1. I think LeBron's in that 2 to 3 range.
I hear that. Now go ahead, G.
My thing is, like, I don't think LeBron has yet to eclipse Kobe yet, in my mind.
I hear that, and that's a whole nother conversation that we'll definitely get into. We'll definitely get into in the future, man, no doubt. I think that LeBron, because his career is still active, he does have a chance to eclipse Jordan. I mean, I don't think it's easy. It won't be done easily. I mean, it's not well within reach, but it's possible. And if anybody can do it, I think LeBron would be the one. I'm not counting against him. I'm not counting on him to do it, but I think it would definitely have to be 3 more championships. I think it definitely has to be at least 6 chips before we can start entering him into that conversation. How he does it, I'm really not concerned with, but if he gets 3 more, it really the conversation, you have to really start looking at small things, because you can't just throw Jordan got 6 in anybody's face anymore. But it's an interesting conversation. I'm sure it's one we'll probably come back to a lot in the future, man.
I respect 6.
I think he's got an opportunity to make a run. People may not see it. I know he's 35 years old, but I think he has the opportunity right now, the way the league is stacked currently, to make a run. He could make a 2-3 championship run, or before he hits 40, he could get a couple more.
Hey, look, people like T gonna say he got 5 in a Corona chip. They're not gonna count his Corona chip.
Yeah, I'm not counting that. If he win this year, I'm not counting.
You're not counting the Corona chip, bro?
No, man, no COVID trophies. Get out of here.
Yeah, man. Well, keeping it pushing, man. There was some other big things that happened. This time it wasn't in the world of sports per se, but in the world of music. And we had another battle of 2 greats, 2 legends, if you ask me, that really helped shape anybody's childhood or anybody's young adulthood if they were born in the early 90s or late 80s, man. And I'm talking about Luda, and I'm talking about Nelly. One of the best battles so far in this Versus series they've been putting out, man. So let's jump into it, man. What did you guys think about the battle? Who did you guys think won? Gerardo, let's start with you, bro.
Ludacris, man. Throw them bows always made you want to fight somebody, man. Coming out of school, playing that joint down the hallway and shit. You know, I mean, I like Nelly a little bit going into it when he played Air Force One. Brought nostalgia back to that era when everybody had a pair of Air Forces, every kind of flavors. But then when he started playing his unheard release music, I was like, yo, bro, what is this? Like, the greatest thing about Nelly was like Tip Drill after that in my mind, where he was just like, yo, you stayed up late at night trying to watch BET Uncut. But I had to still get that to Nelly, to Ludacris, man.
Yeah,
Nelly,
no,
man,
I feel that. I feel that. Now, Luda definitely did his thing, man. T, what do you think, bro?
Hey man, if you follow me on Twitter, you know I called this. I said Luda all the way from the jump. Nelly lost before it even started, man. The janky Wi-Fi, like the Boost Mobile, like what was going on, man? Half the time Nelly was stuck in the camera like this. That's how on my end. I mean, so but both timeless artists, right? Both got bangers, both legends of that BET Uncut, man. Legends. But Nelly ain't have enough punching power for Luda. Luda got anthem after anthem after anthem. I'm not even a Luda fan, but I respect the greatness. I respect what he did for the culture. And Nelly did a lot for the culture too. He put St. Louis on the map. I had no idea that they rapped in St. Louis. And gotta respect them both. You know, shout out to both of them for putting together a good show. But Luda, man. And Nelly played some like G said, man, Nelly played some tracks that I don't think they was old. I think he was trying to debut some new stuff and sneak it in on us like we was gonna like it. Nah, bro. Get out of here.
I think you bring up a good point, man. Luda definitely had anthem after anthem, and one thing that was becoming clear to me as it was going, you know, I think that it's clear, man, that Luda got more hits than Nelly, man. Luda got more hits, more bangers than Nelly got. But what I thought after watching the battle was that Nelly's top bangers bang a little bit harder than Luda's. I'm talking about Hot in Here, Air Force Ones, Ride With Me. Like those songs are like
Tip Drill.
Tip Drill. Yeah, those are some generational songs. And I feel like although Luda got more hits, I think Nelly's bangers bang a little bit harder. Scrubble, what do you think, bro?
Hey, honestly, you know, when you're talking about a versus, we gotta talk about format, you know, and I think this format ultimately failed Nelly terribly because it was a 20 track, you know, verse 20 tracks, and that's a format built for Ludacris, a guy that was pumping out albums year after year after year after year, and he had a hit or two on each album. He was certain, you know, he was doing those. Whereas, you know, Nelly had a couple really quality, you know, he had his thing, you know, as an artist, you don't gotta pump out, you know, 1,000,001 albums. You know, that's Frank Ocean. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes less is more. And, you know, for this particular versus, 20 tracks, man, Luda was built for it, you know, and unfortunately Nelly was reaching. And I think Nelly's a competitive guy. He tried to figure it out at the end, try to put it together, you know what I'm saying? Try to pull a couple tracks and I'm gonna throw Biggie in here. I thought that was a nice little strategic move, but trying to make a strategic coaching decision. But no disrespect to Nelly, because I think he had a certain amount of game that he brought, you know what I'm saying? To me, you know, longevity for Luda and consistency year in, year and out. You know, he's like the Vince Carter of the game. You know what I'm saying? Whereas Nelly, you know, Nelly had his run. He's putting up big numbers, crazy numbers, diamond numbers. You know, kind of like his cousin T-Mac. You know what I'm saying? Like, respect to both of them, but, you know, this format, it favored Ludacris.
Nah, that's a good sports parallel. Looks like we kind of in agreement over here, fellas.
That's a real good point, man. Like, if I'm out, I'd rather hear Nelly, man. I don't really want to hear the Cadillac grills. You know, I want to hear drop down and get your eagle on, girl. I want to hear all that stuff, man.
Yeah.
And but what it did make me remember, man, because I grew up in that era. Luda really put on for the South as a lyricist. And that's at a time where there was a big debate over New York rap and down South rap, and people really weren't respecting the down South rap. It was hard to get played on New York radio if you were a Southern artist. And Luda on that Made You Look remix, he went crazy.
Facts.
He went crazy.
Yeah, the remixes was another element. That was a whole nother layer to it that I wasn't even thinking about.
Yes,
I
sir.
forgot he laid down the tracks. He was representing at a time when the South was really, you know, starting to take over. He was the main person representing the South and representing. Okay, yeah, us, you know, South rappers can rap, you know, just like East Coast New York rappers. And he was coming with the heat, just to let people know, and you felt that. On
Yeah,
that,
and then Nelly played his verse on Rock the Mic, and I said, "Oh man,
I didn't even know he was on that."
you me either, man. Throw it away."
Yeah, I think Nelly did try to do a little too much, man. Nelly did a little.
20 is tough for Nelly, man. 20.
But my guy was enjoying it the whole time. He was up. He gave a lot of energy, man. A good showman. I loved it.
Nelly missed hitting in the gym, you heard?
Bro, I was done, bro.
That's the best loss I've seen somebody take in a while, man.
So, all right. So let's just get everybody's winner, man. Gerardo, Nelly or Luda?
Georgia, I'm about to go with Luda on that one, man.
T, Nelly or Luda?
Man, Luda in the landslide.
Scrub.
Yeah, I mean, all due respect, it wasn't even close. Luda, easy.
Your man got 4-0, man. Hey, Nelly, though, your bangers bang a little bit harder, bro. I'm gonna still say that. Like Scrub said, that format.
You gotta bring back the Band-Aid.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Hey, man.
Hold up. Before we move on, what do y'all want to see next? Because these verses kind of been getting me through the quarantine.
Hey, bro, you ain't lying, bro.
Is there a matchup that y'all would want to see?
Let's see.
DMX and I want to see DMX and Jay-Z.
No way.
Ooh, no, bro. That
Why
I think
not?
people. Yeah, that. I would watch it. Jay would win, but I think DMX.
No way, hell no.
DMX would be closer than people would think, though. I promise.
Of course he would win.
What?
DMX?
DMX got hits, bro. DMX got hits.
Jay-Z.
Exactly.
I didn't say he would win,
Yes.
bro. I said it would be closer than people would expect. Come on, man. Get a man some credit.
Y'all won.
Jay-Z.
Y'all won.
Jay-Z would never go head to head with DMX.
Rockefeller. Exactly.
Who could Hov even go head to head with, though?
He wouldn't go head to head with anyone, but Nas.
Drake?
And I don't think even think he would do that.
Wayne versus Drake would be lit, though.
Wayne versus Drake would be lit.
That would be fun.
Wayne would get that man, though.
Yeah, but Wayne's got crazy amount of stuff.
Wayne will get that man, bro.
Wayne could get anybody.
I don't know.
Wayne gonna get that.
That would be great. That's actually a good one. That's a good one. Even though they're from different eras in a way.
Hold on. So y'all telling me Jay body DMX and Money Cash Hoes?
No.
Nah, I would never say that, bro. I would never say that. That's what it is.
If we're going track for track, I mean, after like Party Up, like, I mean, X got songs. X is one of my favorite rappers, but
got songs, bro.
You can't throw a name like Hov out there.
Why not? They can come up in the same era.
20 tracks. It's not freestyling together on a beat or acapella. It's 20 tracks, and Hov's top 20 is just ridiculous, man. Hov's top 20 is crazy, bro.
No, I'd like to see.
Throw him against Nas first.
Would beat a lot of people's top 20.
Huh?
I'm seeing Rome in the comments. He makes a good point. I'd like to see some female rappers. I think a name that I'd like to see out there is Missy Elliott. Although I don't know who will be the proper opponent, but Missy Elliott is a name I'd like to see.
Nah, Missy. I don't know if anyone can mess with Missy.
Nikki.
It might have to be a guy.
Missy versus Nikki, man. Yeah, sleep, man.
Missy gonna watch. Missy gonna watch.
Nikki.
You know how many tracks Nikki got, man? How many records she? No, it'll be closer than you think. That's a close battle.
Missy got anthems, or Missy got changed the world, man. I'm not saying Nikki had an imprint, but Missy Elliott, bro, I don't know.
It's 20 songs.
That's true.
20 songs.
That's why the format's so lit, man. The format is
like, you know who I want to see, man, for the culture, just for that era? I'd want to see Cameron versus 50 Cent, a G-Unit versus Dipset situation.
Oh, that would be tough.
Play any
track. We're putting mixtapes?
Yeah, play anything that came out under Diplomats, anything that came out under G-Unit.
That would be great.
Bruh, just Victory by Lloyd Banks wins everything. Straight up. Victory, Lloyd Banks verse on Victory, ain't nothing touching that. That's already that's G Unit. I'm sorry.
That's gonna be a good one. I would probably get a nod to G Unit, but that was gonna come down to 18, 19, 20 championship rounds, boy.
It depends what you're talking about, man. If you're talking about the full Dipset, that's pretty deep, man. Pretty deep.
That's what I'm saying. Jim Jones and Jewels had bigger solo careers than Buck and Banks.
Banks killed the mixtape circuit.
They all killed the mixtape circuit. That was a mixtape era.
We're talking about Cold Corner 1, Cold Corner 2. We're talking about More Money in the Banks. We're talking about V5. Bro, I got mixtapes on mixtape with Banks. I'm a big Banks fan. Nick could tell you that.
Yeah, he loves some Lloyd Banks, man. It's a good opportunity for this is a great opportunity for him to bring it back because need a little buzz right now. It's a good time, man. These old dudes getting some streams, getting some love off this shit. I ain't gonna lie. I've been after these verses. All these artists is getting some love, man, and bringing back the vibes and nostalgic vibes. Got me back, going back, downloading old Ludacris albums. I'm like, yeah,
you got to
stream. Hey, I want another. I want a real down south battle, man. I want South versus South. I want region versus region. Give me South versus New York. That's what they should do for the next one. Because I feel like every battle's kind of had a little theme. The Nelly versus Luda, they was kind of in that same thing. Erykah Badu and Jill Scott. It was almost like Erykah Badu passed the torch to Jill Scott, kind of. So that was kind of that theme. Then with Neo and my dude, Austin. Their relationship was like you had the guy that that writes songs, but you also know him. Then the guy that's behind the scenes that only writes songs, you don't really know his face. So that had that dynamic. I feel like everyone low key had his little theme. East versus West, or a little South versus.
In that vein, I'm gonna throw one out there. Right, it's three artists. I know they only been doing one-on-one, but 3 artists for King of Trap: Jeezy, Gucci, and T.I.
Ooh, yeah, that would be crazy, bro.
Ooh.
That would be crazy.
Jeezy T.I. would be a good one, for sure.
Who would y'all take out of those? Who would y'all take out of those 3? King of Trap.
I'm taking. It's hard for me to not go with Gucci.
It's only one.
I'm taking Gucci. Gucci Bird.
Goo-wop.
It's Gucci man. It's Goo-wop.
Yeah.
Everybody knows it's only one. And I love Jeezy.
Gucci was the original First Day Out.
Yeah, he was. He was. T Grizzly won battle on the low, but
hey, look, 20 songs. First Day Out got to go first, and once he play that, it's over, man. So, over my eyes, bro.
Hell yeah, man. I don't know, man. It just don't be giving me life, though. It's been giving me life, man. Honestly, I live for these type of moments, for the culture. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate the verses, man. They're giving us life during these quarantine times, man. So I appreciate it. Man. But
right, shout out to Swiss. Shout out to Timbo.
Hey, man, we gotta keep the verses train going. So I definitely I'm excited to see what they pull out next, man. We're gonna bring it back to sports. We're gonna bring it back to the NFL. Because it's some funny business going on in the NFL. It's been going on for a long time, really. But what I'm talking about is this so-called Rooney Rule. So those of you that may not know what the Rooney Rule is, just not that well informed on it, I'll tell you what it's about. It's basically a affirmative action plan in the NFL. Essentially, every team has to interview a African-American candidate for coach. The goal, obviously, was to get more black coaches and GMs. Obviously, we've seen a string of coaches not getting hired, more or less. We've seen a decline in the number of hires since that time. It seems like maybe a systematic issue. The NFL had a big discussion today to try to figure out what's the solution. Ultimately, they had some suggestions on the board, possible draft pick compensation, trying to figure out a way to fix this thing. Ultimately, they decided to table the discussions, putting it off for now. NFL trying to figure out a solution. My question is, how does the NFL fix this problem? Is there a solution? T, I'm gonna start with you.
I think the NFL trying to institute this whole draft pick situation, which I believe was tabled, but I appreciate that they created the discussion, right? We wouldn't be having this conversation if they didn't propose it at least, right? And I think they proposed it knowing that it would get tabled and knowing that it would generate conversation and raise awareness. And like you said, there's a huge issue going on right now. There's 4 minority head coaches. Redskins have one of them, which is surprising, and 2 minority GMs in a 70% African American league. It just doesn't make sense. The numbers don't, mathematically, something has to give. I think it would make perfect sense to force guys to at least have to hire. Because check it out, if you grab a coach, right, a minority coach, because you have to, good or bad, you got him. If he loses, that draft pick doesn't matter. If he really can't coach, that draft pick does not matter at all. If he really can coach, then congratulations. It opens up the door for everybody else to say, maybe we've been thinking about this all wrong. This is a league where it's not just an issue at the top level. We see it trickle down to quarterbacks. Why doesn't Cam Newton have a job? We saw them do everything for Tebow to try to make this guy a quarterback and try to make him play. They made Terrell Pryor move the receiver. They wouldn't let Kaepernick back in the league. So the NFL has a long way to go. I thought it was a step in the right direction to just even propose it.
Yeah. I see what you mean there, man. I think that in the NFL, I'm not going to say they didn't try to do the right thing with this. I'm not going to tell you they didn't try to make an attempt with what they attempted to do. If you guys know about the 3rd round pick compensation, stuff like that, increasing the 3rd round pick compensation. But I think they kind of went about it wrong a little bit, right? Because I feel like when you reward a team for doing something like hiring a black coach, you're trying to admit that you have a problem without outright admitting that you had a problem. You remember when you were a kid and you didn't want to do something, let's say it was eat your vegetables, right? And your mom would say something like, well, hey, maybe if you eat your vegetables, you'll get this. I'll give you this if you eat your vegetables, right? You still hated eating those vegetables. You know what I mean? Like if it was like, hey, do this, clean your room before you can have fun. You still hated every moment of cleaning your room, although you went and did it. It's like now you just had to associate that with the boredom of your life, the worst thing at that moment of your life. And I feel like low key what the NFL is doing is telling these coaches, these upcoming coaches, that it's a problem to be black, And what we have to do, since you have this problem, is we have to give these teams a better draft pick just for them to take you. And I feel like the better message would be to start to shame these organizations that haven't done it yet. These organizations that have track records of not doing it, let's start shaming them. If the NFL is serious, admit that you have a problem and tell us which teams have been doing it. And once we do that, then you'll get these social justice cries, then you'll get these outrages. Then people will be able to directly point a finger, but it starts with shame. You got to shame these owners into some things. You've seen it in other sports, they shamed, Donald Sterling had something heinous happen. They shamed him out of his job once that happened, right? Put this type of stuff on that same scale and give it that same ridicule, and maybe we'll see some real action.
I think this is like a big dilemma in all sports. The NBA only has 8 black coaches. You're talking about a league that's predominantly black. You're talking about the NFL where only 3 black coaches that is minority. I mean, I'm a Giants fan. Don't let the Andrew Luck jersey fool you guys. But like the last time that Giants had anybody in the head office as a black GM was I believe Jerry, for the Giants, the GM. And like he took us to 2 Super Bowls. He constructed those Eli Manning teams and that defense. That was the coach was a white man, was Coughlin. I mean, giving these teams a better 3rd round pick for what? Like if no one's hiring, and you think a 3rd round pick is going to do anything to justify just to make an attempt of hiring anybody? No. What they need to players need to stand up for these coaches. Someone needs to go out there and be like, yeah, we need more black coaches. We need more diversity in these head offices to make a move. Because if the players don't speak up, then owners really don't care. Look how the owners stood up when Kaepernick went through and did this march. Like the players, you had owners started listening. Like, okay, let's see, we could, instead of doing the Kaepernick way, let's do it our way now. Like players need to come up and speak to get a handle on this problem.
Make a good point. Definitely make a good point. I don't know if it should be the players that should be coming up and speaking. And my question, it's gonna eventually, spin back, and I'm gonna ask y'all. But I think it's systematically in the NFL. We're talking about a system that I think it's a reflection upon the ownership, and it's a reflection upon the culture, deep rooted culture within the NFL. With these
That's a good point.
owners, it's very comfortable for you to and we're not in the position when you're hiring and making these decisions. You want to go with the coach. These guys are already identifying candidates. They want to work necessarily. It is what it is. Call spade a spade. They want to work with folks that look like them. They understand more or less. If there's more minority owners, I think you would see more minority choices within the staff. GMs, more black coaches. I think it's really a shame. There's guys like, without a doubt, shadow in my mind. I want to highlight a certain guy, Eric Bieniemy. Personally, I think if he was the head coach this year, I think he'd be in the better half of coaches in the NFL this year. And the fact that he's not a head coach is clearly, it's clearly proof that and there's a lot of organizations too. If you look at their history, and Bryce made the point. You look at their history. They've all they've done is hire white coaches. Like, are you telling me Eric Bieniemy's not a better coach than Joe Judge? Like, come on.
Look, I think you hit the nail on the head, man.
Hey, give my man a break. My man still hasn't even started the season. All right, give me a break.
That's kind of the point, right? That's kind of the point. Every time we get a white coach up there, it's give him a break, see what he does. A black coach, this guy can't get it done. Just look at the Lions. Ironically, it's the only team that's been fined for the Rooney Rule. You're trying to tell me that Matt Patricia gets to go 9-22-1, and Jim Caldwell's fired after 2 9-7 seasons? I mean, you can explain that a lot of ways, but pure numbers game. If winning is the business, you're not telling me 18 wins is not greater than 9 wins with Matt Patricia in 2 seasons.
I got a question though.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, do you think that the teams, they go back and look at all the black coaches' track records, and they just be like, "Well, none of these guys are winning. Why should we even hire a black coach? Let's not just stick to the same formula. White head coach."
No, I don't think it's always that straightforward. I don't think racism is always that straightforward. And like Scruff was saying with the ownership, sometimes it's just an issue of comfort. You're comfortable around who you look like, who you relate to. Right, a lot of these black guys, the NFL makes more black billionaires than any other business in the world, and a lot of these guys come from underprivileged backgrounds. These billionaires are old money for the most part, and honestly, I don't see any other way to challenge the ownership, because that's what has to change. Right, the ownership is kind of like a microcosm of what's going on in society. You got a nation built on minorities, and then the people at the top, the white people, basically saying, "All right, these guys are the issues. The same minorities that built this situation are the issues. The players are doing all the work. Players are making all the money. Owners are reaping all the benefits." And I think the draft picks was a perfect way to challenge them. Hey, because if we hire that black coach and my team is winning, then maybe that ownership's fan base complains. Like, if we stop hiring Matt Rules and these hotshot rookie coaches from college that come in and get smashed every year, maybe we should give a offensive coordinator in Kansas City that's proven he can get it done. Maybe we give him a shot.
That's a good point, man. That's a good point. It's almost unbelievable that Eric Bieniemy didn't get his shot, man. Because you're talking about this guy's heading probably the best offense we've seen in since Peyton and the Broncos. I mean, and that's unbelievable, man. I mean, like, that's tough. And I'm pretty sure if his name was
Shanahan, McVay,
what else? Insert name here. Something, yeah, he would be up there.
Gruden.
Hey, Owski. Anything ending in Owski?
It's a fact.
Insert
It's a fact. It's a big fact.
Keeping it pushing, man. Hey, we about to intro a new segment for you guys today. It's called the Gas Playlist segment. What are you listening to? In this segment, we will all give a few songs we think you guys should check out, things that we riding to, things that we working out to, things that we listening to while we going throughout our days. So I'll kick it off today. I kind of got my songs in tiers, right? I got something to ride to, something to vibe to, and something to get my mind right. So my something to ride to is Future. Future got his new album out. You haven't checked it out, man? Check it out. You know it's like a holiday when Future drops. But Riding Strikers, man, that's my first track. Future Riding Strikers. Passing it right down to UT.
Okay, so I kind of got my other tiers too, man. I got a banger, you know what I'm saying? Something that it's just a great song. And I got a song that's you said 3 songs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right, and I got a song for the young generation, so we can relate to them a little bit. You know, I try to, dabble in that a little bit. And then I got a trap song, man. A song where, people that come from where I come from can relate to. So first up, I got Party Next Door, the Party Mobile album. Believe Me, P&D and Riri. Timeless joint right there. Lil Uzi Vert from Eternal Take. I got Benicia. I like everything that Uzi does. And the third one is a lesser known artist. I ran across him listening to Starlito and Don Tripp. If you don't know who those guys are, basically undergroundish rappers coming out of Memphis. But Trapper Mandel, he's like their protege. He's next up in line behind those guys. He has a song called "Taking My Lick." True trap artist off his Dale Chapo album. Check all 3 of those out if you haven't heard them.
Lit. Passing it around. Gerardo, what you got for us, man?
I don't know if you guys ever listened to Griselda, but Westside Gun just dropped an album not too long ago, Pray for Paris. I'm fucking with the Griselda boys. Shout out to the Buffalo guys. And my one solo album that I'll be working on to as of right now, it'll be Commercial by Uzi Vert and Baby, Lil Baby. And then you got Future, man. Gotta listen to that album right now, man. Gotta marinate in all that detox, all that toxic. Trying to be the most toxic guy I could be out here.
I feel it now. That Future is cranking, man. Hey, throwing it to you, Scruff. What you throwing on the playlist, bro?
All right. So I mean, I kind of got these joints in kind of different vibes in a sense. So I've been messing with the Erykah Badu vibes off one of her early albums. I'm talking about the Didn't You Know, that jump.
Okay.
I'm fucking with the Deeper Than Rap album, Rick Ross. I'm throwing it back. I'm throwing it back a little bit. I'm on some different vibes. Different vibes during the quarantine. I'm bringing it back. A particular song off of there that really had me hitting was the Yacht Club.
Hey, classic, bro. Classic.
Yacht Club. Somebody was talking about a yacht party out 2021 out in Croatia. Gas gonna have a yacht out there. Yacht Club, baby.
The yacht will be on site.
That's smoking a cigar like Mike.
And matter of fact, we're gonna do a live show from the Gas Yacht just to let the people know that it's real. Anybody that's doubting.
Heck yeah.
Disclaimer: we're not jumping on bridges like Ross.
Last but not least, Future. I'm gonna do one Future track in there as well. I'm going with the joint with Dirk. Last Name. I think that was one of the best joints on the album, personally.
Yeah, that's my joint too. That's my joint too. Yeah, man. So I'm gonna throw these last 2 in there. Obviously, I went Future, man. That Future going crazy. That Riding Strikers. My next song, one of my favorite artists recently, man. I've been riding to this dude for the past couple months, all the way through this pandemic, even before it. That's my guy, Money Man. And Money Man got a couple fire tapes out right now. You can go check one out, Pandemic, or is it Epidemic? It's fire. But one song I'm rocking to is Fall Today, man. Get my mind right for sure. And my last song, it's my guy Rex Life Raj, man, out of Berkeley, California. He got a song called Not in My League. Yeah, that's some mind music right there for you. That's some mind music right there for you. Check it out for sure. Check it out. Hey, real quick, guys, we're gonna have the gas playlist up on Spotify. So be looking for that, man. We coming strong. We're gonna give y'all something to work out to, something to vibe to. Even if you want to get your spiritual on, we got some Erykah Badu on there. Hey, we got all angles for you.
We drop that on Twitter for y'all.
Yeah, no doubt.
You gotta be the most toxic person in the world.
You got to detox. You got to detox from that, man. That's why I balance it out, man.
That's a fact.
Heck yeah.
Well, hey, we definitely appreciate any and everybody tuning in for listening to another episode of Gas Presents Sports for the Culture. Hey, remember, every single Tuesday, 10:30 p.m., y'all can catch us. If you're not following us, make that happen. It's at Good Ass Sports. We easy to find. We on every single platform imaginable at this point. So definitely rock with us, man. 10:30 p.m., Sports for the Culture every week. And like every week, guys, Sports for the Culture.
Sports for the culture.
For the culture.
Deportes por la cultura.